Hey guys, this is Josh Farley back with another video. And in this video, I actually wanted to talk about the importance of rebooting the T-Mobile 5G home internet gateway after bad weather or a storm or something like that, or windy days, rainy days, snowy days, hail, basically any, bad weather situation. So the speeds can be impacted, whether you have T-Mobile 5G home internet, whether you have, any internet service, even cable practically, coming into your house. But most of the time, not cable so much. But for cellular technology, it's affected by the wind, the rain, weather and stuff like that. So, obviously cable is not going to really be affected by that because that's coming in, your house, through an actual cable. So, this is basically for people that have T-Mobile 5G home internet, or AT&T home internet, Verizon home internet, cellular home internet, any cellular home internet. So for me, I actually have a Chester Cheetah version 2 gateway slash router. I'm not going to actually go into the admin page here, but that's the admin page right there, the Chester Cheetah, as you can see. And we had some windy days, and I actually have some videos on my channel that I actually had some speed tests done on those windy days. And we had some really, gusty days on, 3 straight days of really windy days here in South Jersey. And the speeds were definitely affected. They were definitely affected. Now, were they unusable? No, they weren't actually unusable. But my point is, after I rebooted the gateway, the Chester Cheetah gateway slash router, so I rebooted it after those windy days, and I noticed that the ping, and not only the ping, but the download and the upload speeds were a lot better after I rebooted. And the reason behind that is because it actually refreshes the signal. If you don't reboot the gateway after a storm or something, so I actually did run more speed tests actually before I rebooted it. It was actually a day after I actually rebooted it after work. And I did some speed tests actually before I left for work. So I have those videos on my channel. You can check them out. And I did some speed tests before I left for work on a day that wasn't windy anymore. After the windy days were over. And I actually didn't reboot it. So I actually should have rebooted it, that day, before I left for work. But I, just wanted to see what it would do. And it gave me better speeds. Was I getting the speeds that I was used to? Not really. I still wasn't, getting the speeds that we were used to. But I'm just, letting you guys know it's best to reboot it after a bad weather day, whether it be a bad weather day, a bad weather night, a bad weather evening, you get the picture. So any kind of bad weather, rain, snow, sleet, hail, wind, any bad weather, that you guys would have in your area. So I'm just going to call it a bad weather day or bad weather night or evening, whatever. So, long story short, it's best to reboot it because I've noticed that after I reboot it, the signal refreshes. Now, there's something to keep in mind. It's not going to always give you the fastest speeds right away after you reboot it because it's going to still try to find itself. It's going to try to lock onto the towers. Now, I have a Chester Cheetah version 2 gateway slash modem, so it's going to lock onto those towers that I tell it to lock onto, or bands, not towers. It's going to lock onto those bands that I tell it to, but it's still going to take a little while. I would probably give it, a few hours or a day or so, to get, refreshed, and then you'll get your speeds back. So the weather definitely does affect the speeds and stuff. It affects the ping, it affects the upload, it affects the download. It's not a cable company, it's not a cable provider, so you're going to have to deal with that kind of stuff. So I actually want to talk about another thing here. If you only get like 50 gigabytes or 50 Mbps, not 50 gigabytes. If you only get like 50, for download or less than that, maybe even 100, if you get 100 or less than that, for download, and you get, maybe I'll say 50, or actually less than that. Let's say less than that, like 10, 20, 30, for upload. Our upload in our area is horrible, so there's not really much I can do about it. We average like 10 to 20, 30, sometimes, which is fine for us. But if the weather is bad, we do notice slowdowns, but not, unusable. So for the download, I want to stress this, a lot, because if you get only, I'll say, 50 to 100 for download, Mbps, for download, 50 to 100, say you get that, you're going to have that cut in half when it's bad weather. So say, you get a bad weather day, it's stormy, it's rainy, it's really windy or something, it's snowing, something like that, any kind of bad weather, like really bad weather, even mediocre, sometimes not real bad weather, your speeds are going to be cut in half. So you have to take that into consideration, when getting a cellular service, because, for your home internet, because if you live in an area, where it's constantly bad weather, we live in South Jersey, so we don't really get, too bad of weather, all the time. But if you live somewhere like London, somewhere where it's always raining, always windy, just always like, moisture in the air, then you might notice, that you probably wouldn't, really benefit from a service like this. So if you get like 50 to 100 download, that's going to be cut in half when you get bad weather. So we average like, not 100, we average 500, download to 600 download, and that's even, at the peak of the day. I've done speed test videos on my channel if you want to check that out. I actually, did a test earlier tonight. It's actually 1:40 a.m. Sunday now. But I did a speed test. I did speed test video, earlier tonight on Saturday. It was like 10 o'clock. At night, and I did a speed test video, and we were still averaging 500 downloads, sometimes 600 in that speed test video. That's on my channel. You can check it out. And that was, during, a Saturday night, where a lot of people are home streaming and stuff. So that's really good speeds for that time of day, or that time of, night. But I'm, trying to stress this to you guys. If you only average 50 to 100 download, you're going to have to figure that that's going to get cut in half when you have bad weather. So definitely keep that in mind before you get this service. The good thing is T-Mobile actually allows you to test it out for 15 days. I'm pretty sure it's like 15 days or 30 days. I believe it's like 30 days or something. They give you like a test drive, which is a really good thing, because I don't think Verizon Home Internet does that, or AT&T. I don't think they do that. I think T-Mobile is the only one that actually does that. And that's actually what we did. We tested it out for 30 days, and then, we were good to go. But, I also did test it out thoroughly when we had bad weather. So for us, when we have bad weather, we average like 500 to 600 download, normally, throughout the day, the evening, the morning, all that kind of stuff, at least right now. Also take into consideration that I have a waveform 4x4 antenna, connected to this, and I also have the Chester Cheetah version 2, gateway, / modem, connected to this, so it's like a modded modem, or gateway, Wi-Fi router, whatever you want to call it, with band locking and stuff, so we get better speeds. But, even with that, that's not going to save you from the elements. That's not going to save you from that. But the better speeds that you get, the better, because, like I said, that's going to be cut in half. So if you only get like 50 to 100 download, that's probably not going to be enough, because once you have bad weather, that's going to be cut in half. So if you're only getting like 50 to 100, you're probably going to be down to like, maybe, I would probably say maybe like 40 to 20, maybe 10, maybe 5. So that's, definitely kind of scary, if you get those kind of speeds, when the weather's bad. So for us, when the weather was bad, when we had those really windy days, we were averaging like 4 to 300, sometimes 200, which is usable. So, that's definitely nothing to worry about for us, for our area. But every area is different, so keep that in mind. But like I'm saying, if you average, slow speeds anyway, then you have to keep in mind, that this service might not work for you. Any, cellular service might not work for you for your home internet, because those speeds are going to be cut in half, when you get bad weather. So you have to keep that in mind. That's what I'm trying to stress here. For us, it's no problem, because we get 5 to 600, on the daily, basically. And then, we get anywhere from 400, depending on how bad the storm is or how bad the weather is. We get like 400, 300, 200. I've never seen it go lower than that. So those are still, usable speeds for just me and my mom. And occasionally some people are over, if there's a storm or something, we'd still be fine. But for people, like I said, that get even slower speeds, like really bad speeds, 50 to 100 download, you guys might want to look for something else or keep what you have, because that's your speeds would be cut in half, like I said, so you would probably only be getting like 40, download, or 20 download, maybe less than that. So, that's the importance, that I wanted to get out in this video. Not only that, but rebooting the gateway too, after a bad weather day, or evening or night, afternoon, whatever it may be. I highly recommend, doing that. And I wanted to, stress in this video also, about bad weather with this service, T-Mobile 5G home internet, or any cellular, home internet, because it's just like your phone. I've noticed with bad weather around here with my phone, I get like almost full bars in the house. But when we get bad weather, it actually goes from like full bars to like 1 or 2 bars. So it's definitely, finicky when it comes to the weather. So definitely keep that in mind. So I just wanted to get this video out there and tell you guys about that, and the importance, of, the speeds and everything. The speeds are definitely important. So the higher speeds, the better, the better speeds, that you get is obviously better, because, you can, overcome, like we can, we average, regularly on a daily basis without bad weather. We average anywhere from 500 to 600 download, so we can overcome that, because it still gets cut in half. Or maybe not always half, but it depends on how bad the weather is, how windy it is, how rainy it is, how stormy it is, whatever. It depends on, that kind of stuff. But, like I said, keep that in mind, that it will get cut, somewhat. Your speeds are going to get cut down, when you have bad weather. So definitely keep that in mind, and definitely reboot it after a bad weather, time or whatever. So anyway, yeah, that's all I got in this video, guys. Like I said, I just wanted to get this video out there. And if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. And until next time, guys.